to get started, have any of you ever created a vision board? And do any of you believe in the power of a vision board? So last year, around 10 p.m., I lit a candle in my room, and I began to create my first ever vision board. And there were images of Pilates studios, the Burj Khalifa, a villa, luggage, and content creator equipment. At the time, I was miserable and depressed, and I had nowhere to go. But then on the left-hand corner, I put an image of a woman. She was holding a microphone, and behind her is a presentation, and in front of her is her audience. And all I know is that that image is the reason why I'm here today. No one ever tells you this, but in personal development, the vision board is your first step, and it can morph into a full-time job. So back in high school, I got this obsession with research and understanding context fully. And as you can probably guess, I became obsessed with personal development. I began researching topics such as self-love, commitment, compassion, discipline, productivity hacks, and mindset shifts. And it became this obsession where I'd go on YouTube, listen to audiobooks, in my car, before I go to bed, during my lunch breaks. I took it one step further by contacting random warm lines. And on those warm lines, I would talk to strangers. We discussed things such as family, friends, unemployment, finances. Then one night, I was on YouTube, and I came across this YouTube video titled, "Watch This If You Are Ambitious Yet Lazy." And in front of the camera, there was this woman looking straight at the camera lens, looking professional. It was the businesswoman and YouTube creator, Natalie Dawson. Natalie spent 3 years of her life absorbing content on personal development and spirituality. However, she realized during those 3 years, she coined this chapter of her life, spiritual entertainment. Now, this spiritual entertainment term was the first time I've ever heard it. And it shut, a pulse in my heart, nerves were coming out, tears were flowing. And I realized in this moment 3 questions. How much time did I waste? How much of this content that I've been absorbing for the past year actually impacted my life? And was I actually taking action on any of this content that I've been absorbing? This was a challenge because it turns out I was using self-help content as a shield. And at this time, I was judging my sister harshly for binge watching her Netflix series on a daily basis. And I was no different than my sister who I judged. But this also led to a journaling session. And on this journaling session, I was journaling about what I've learned in my year of absorbing content. And it turns out that I was absorbing content to avoid living real life. The truth is, I was in fear of being myself. And I allowed the traumas to define me. And I allowed the traumas to slow me down and to hide. And I knew that this hiding had to end when I would look at other women who've accomplished everything that I wanted on my vision board. I saw them going to Pilates, I saw them traveling, making an impact, traveling the world, and I wondered, out of frustration, what makes these women so freaking special? And I challenged my inner voice. And my inner voice told me, you have to become messy and not fear being seen. And this was extremely difficult for me because as a perfectionist who is like trying to unlearn that habit, making mistakes was part of my trauma. And because I got heavily criticized making mistakes from family and from educators alike. And I had this trauma around making mistakes. As I know that I've been using self-help content as my shield, and I love learning and I love personal development, to what degree does it have to end with stop living my real life so I can start facing life, you know? So truly, how long do I have to postpone the ability of myself to stop learning skills, building relationships, and developing community? So now I ask a question for you all. How long have you postponed something so meaningful to your heart because of fear? And it's okay if you don't know the answer right now, because all I know is that I'm here today at Toastmasters, willing to be messy, developing my voice, and willing to be messy with you all. Thank you so much.